The phone rings late. Not a casual check-in. Not small talk. One of those calls where you can feel the weight before a single word is spoken. A moment where history is about to split into two paths and only one of them ends clean. This was the moment 21 Savage says he tried to stop something that hip-hop would soon be unable to escape. A moment where advice was given. A warning was clear. And the warning was ignored. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. When Kendrick Lamar's verse on Like That detonated across the culture in 2024, it did not feel like just another diss. It felt surgical, precise, calculated. A reminder that rap battles are not just about bars anymore, but about legacy, pride, timing, and perception. And from the outside looking in, Drake seemed poised to respond the way he always had before. With confidence. With numbers. With a belief that success itself is a form of armor. But 21 Savage saw something different. He did not see a battle waiting to be won. He saw a trap. One where even victory would come with consequences. 21 Savage has never positioned himself as a philosopher in rap beefs. He is not known for overanalyzing lyrical warfare or giving public strategy breakdowns. But he is known for being observant. For surviving environments where knowing when not to move is just as important as knowing when to strike. And that instinct kicked in the moment Kendrick fired his shot. By the time Like That took over the conversation, Drake was already being pulled toward the moment. Fans were demanding a response. Media narratives were forming. The culture was ready for fireworks. But according to 21 Savage, he picked up the phone and said something simple but heavy. You are walking into something you cannot win. Not because Drake cannot rap. Not because Kendrick is untouchable. But because of where Drake stands in the game. Because of what winning would even mean for someone already sitting at the top. This is where the warning becomes deeper than just a rap opinion. 21 was not talking about bars. He was talking about positioning. Drake is one of the most streamed artists in the world. One of the most commercially successful rappers in history. His dominance is not theoretical. It is measurable. Chart sales, tours, global reach. That level of success changes the rules of engagement. When you are at the top, winning does not elevate you. It only maintains you. Losing, however, pulls you down. And Kendrick Lamar operates in a different space. He does not chase numbers the same way. His legacy is built on critical acclaim, cultural weight, and artistic moments that ripple beyond charts. So when Kendrick steps into battle, the question is not whether he can out-rap someone. The question is how the culture will frame the outcome. 21 Savage understood that. He understood that Kendrick stepping up would be seen as punching up, while Drake responding would be seen as defending a throne. Those optics alone tilt the scale. Even if Drake dropped a technically superior record. Even if streams favored him. Even if fans debated endlessly. The narrative would still circle back to one uncomfortable truth. What did Drake really gain? As 21 put it, when you are number one, where does winning put you? You cannot be number 1.1. There is no higher ground to claim. This is the part of rap beef that fans often ignore. Battles are not judged only by skill. They are judged by context. By hunger. By who had more to prove. Kendrick stepping into the ring reignited conversations about lyricism, artistry, and intention. Drake stepping in opened himself up to critiques that go far beyond the music. And 21 Savage knew it would come down to ego. Ego is the invisible fuel of most legendary conflicts. It convinces people that walking away is weakness. That silence is surrender. That reputation must be defended at all costs. And Drake is someone who deeply loves the craft. He loves the competition. He loves being tested. That hunger has carried him for over a decade. But Kendrick loves something else. He loves rapping itself. The purity of it. The challenge. The act of saying something meaningful through bars. And that difference matters. 21 admitted something that surprised many listeners. He said he does not care about rapping in the same way. He enjoys it, but it does not define him. A diss record would not inspire him to respond musically. He would handle things differently. That honesty reveals a crucial truth. Not every artist processes conflict the same way. For Kendrick, dissing someone is part of his language. For Drake, responding is part of his survival. But for 21, the situation felt unnecessary. Avoidable. What makes this warning even more striking is that it came from someone inside Drake's circle. Not a critic. Not a rival. A collaborator. A friend. Someone who has benefited from Drake's platform and shared success with him. This was not jealousy or distance talking. This was proximity. And Drake still moved forward. When the battle unfolded, the culture split predictably. Some said Kendrick won. Some said Drake held his own. Others said the whole thing exposed deeper fractures in hip-hop about authenticity, commercialism, and respect. But 21's point stands untouched by those debates. The outcome was irrelevant. The cost was not. Drake emerged from the beef with his status questioned in ways numbers cannot silence. Kendrick emerged reinforced in his role as rap's moral and lyrical authority. That alone tells you who the moment favored. 21 never said Drake was wrong for responding. He never disrespected Kendrick's skill. He acknowledged both sides. He even said he liked Drake's songs from the battle. But his argument was never about preference. It was about positioning. When you are already the biggest name in the room, fighting someone who thrives on proving himself does not make strategic sense. It satisfies ego, but it invites scrutiny. This is the part of the story that resonates beyond hip-hop. Power changes the meaning of conflict. When you have everything, defending it looks different than trying to earn it. Kendrick needed the moment. Drake did not. And that imbalance is what 21 tried to communicate in that phone call. What makes this situation even more telling is how rare it is for artists to publicly admit giving that kind of advice. Most people protect narratives. They avoid exposing behind-the-scenes conversations. But 21 shared it calmly. Not to embarrass Drake. Not to say I told you so. But to explain perspective. It was a reminder that wisdom in hip-hop does not always come from the loudest voice or the most lyrical rapper. Sometimes it comes from someone who understands survival and timing. The streets that 21 often references are not just physical spaces. They are mental environments. Places where you learn when to move and when to stay still. And according to him, this was a moment to stay still. Instead, ego took the wheel. Ego convinces you that you can outwork, out-rap, outperform any obstacle. And most of the time Drake has been right. That confidence built his empire. But not every opponent plays the same game. Kendrick does not need to drop frequently. He does not need to chase trends. He waits. And when he speaks, the culture listens differently. That is why this beef felt different. It was not about diss tracks alone. It was about philosophies colliding. Quantity versus precision. Dominance versus disruption. 21 Savage saw that collision coming and tried to step in. The irony is that the warning itself now adds another layer to the story. It reframes the entire beef as something that could have been avoided. Something that did not need to happen for Drake to remain Drake. And that is the hardest pill for fans to swallow. The idea that some battles are optional. That not responding does not always mean losing. That silence can sometimes be strength. In hip-hop history, walking away has rarely been celebrated. But as the culture matures, the definition of victory is changing. Longevity, peace, and control matter more than momentary dominance. 21's words echo that shift. Certain situations, even if you win, you still do not win. It is a sentence that applies far beyond rap. It applies to business relationships, friendships, public feuds, and personal pride. Winning at the wrong cost is still a loss. Drake chose to step into the fire. Kendrick was ready. The culture watched. And history recorded the moment not just as a beef, but as a lesson. A lesson about ego. About timing. About knowing when your crown already speaks louder than your response. And somewhere in the background of that noise is a quiet voice saying, I tried to tell him. That voice belongs to 21 Savage. Not as a judge. Not as a victor. But as someone who saw the board clearly and recognized that sometimes the smartest move is not to play at all. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.